Level 1, the production assistant. It's 4 a.m. You're standing in a parking lot behind a warehouse in the valley, holding a call sheet with 60 names on it. Yours is near the bottom. No last name, just PA3. You haven't slept. You won't sleep for 19 more hours. You have a coffee in each hand, and neither one is for you. You knock on a trailer door. A voice inside tells you to leave it and go away. You leave it and go away. You make $150 a day before taxes. You drove 40 minutes to get here in a car with a check engine light you've been ignoring for 3 months. You can't afford to look at it. You watch the director walk past you close enough to touch. He doesn't see you. Nobody sees you. You are furniture that fetches coffee. You tell yourself this is temporary. You tell yourself everyone starts here. You believe it mostly in the way you believe things you need to be true. At midnight, you're still coiling cable in the dark. Someone important laughs at something on set. You don't know what. You just hear it carry across the lot, warm and far away, like weather in another country. Your phone buzzes. It's your mother. You don't answer. You'll call her back when you have something worth reporting. You've been telling yourself that for 2 years. You go home and set an alarm for 3:40 a.m. You will do this for longer than you think you can. Level 2, the crew. 3 years in. You have a union card now laminated in your wallet next to a gas receipt. You are a grip. You know how to rig a light nobody will remember was rigged by you. Your body knows things it didn't used to know. Your lower back knows what a 14-hour day feels like at hour 12. Your hands know the weight of a C-stand. You make real money now. Not film money, trade money. Enough to have an apartment with your name on the lease instead of someone else's. You watch actors walk past craft services and take nothing, because someone else brings them what they need. You used to be the someone else. Some days, you still are. You start to understand the machine, not the magic. The machine, insurance, permits, union rules written in blood from people who came before you. You respect it more than you expected to. You are not famous. You will never be famous. You are the reason the thing exists at all, and no one outside this lot will ever know your name. There's a kind of pride in that if you let yourself feel it. Quiet, unglamorous, the kind nobody writes movies about. Level 3, the reader. You work in development now. You read 240 scripts a year for other people's decisions. Most of them are bad. You know within 10 pages. You keep reading anyway because that's the job. You write coverage, recommend, consider, pass. Your opinion moves a project forward or ends it, and no one credits you either way. You learn the industry's real currency isn't talent, it's proximity. Who was in the room? Who returns whose calls? You start collecting rooms to be in. You go to a party you weren't quite invited to. You laugh at a joke a producer makes that isn't funny. You watch yourself do it and feel something curdle, quietly, somewhere behind your ribs. You have opinions about scripts that will never be made, buried in a spreadsheet nobody reads twice. You wonder sometimes if you're building a career or just archiving other people's dreams. There's a version of this job that turns into real power. People who stay in this room long enough stop reading other people's scripts and start deciding whose scripts get made at all. You could go further down that hallway. Some people do. You don't. You want to be in front of the camera, not behind the desk that decides who gets to stand there. You tell yourself, this is temporary too. Level 4, the working actor. You book things now. Not big things. A guest spot, a regional commercial, a line of dialogue that gets cut in the edit, and you find out watching it with your family, who don't say anything, and neither do you. You audition constantly. You are rejected constantly. Rejection stops meaning anything specific about you. It just becomes whether you walk through. You have an agent who returns your calls sometimes. You have headshots that cost more than your rent. You have a system for crying in your car for exactly 4 minutes after a bad audition, then reapplying mascara, then going to your serving shift. You are 31. Your mother asks when you're going to get a real job. You don't have an answer that would make sense to her. Your friends from college own houses now. You post a photo from a set you weren't allowed to name, captioned with 3 words because that's all you're legally permitted to say. Level 5, the breakout. One role changes everything. You didn't know it would when you booked it. It was supposed to be a small part in a small film nobody would see. Everyone sees it. Your phone doesn't stop. People who haven't called you in years call you. Your agent calls you twice in 1 hour, which has never happened before. You walk into a room and people who ignored you 18 months ago now stand up when you enter. Same face, same person, different math. You don't feel like you deserve it yet. You keep waiting for someone to check your credentials and find out you're still just PA3 in a parking lot at 4 a.m. No one checks. No one ever checks again. Level 6, the in-demand. You choose projects now instead of begging for them. You have a team, a manager, an agent, a publicist, a lawyer, all taking their percentage, all telling you slightly different things about what you should do next. You make more in one film than your parents made in 15 years combined. The number stops feeling real the way it did the first time you saw it. Strangers recognize you in airports now. Polite at first, you haven't learned yet what it costs. You buy your mother a house, she cries. You cry. It is one of the only pure moments you will get to keep. A studio starts campaigning your name for award season before you've even seen the final cut. You didn't know that was a verb. You are now somehow a line item in that budget. Level 7, the star. You sign a 3-picture deal. It sounds like security. It reads, in the fine print, like years of your life already spoken for. Strangers stop seeing you and start seeing the character. They call you by his name in restaurants. They quote his lines at you and wait, expectantly, for you to perform them back. A clip from set leaks online, 4 seconds, no context. And by morning, it's a headline about how difficult you supposedly are. The studio's legal team makes a call. The story disappears within a week. You never find out what it costs to make it disappear. A director tells a trade publication he'll never work with you again. He doesn't say why. You have a theory. You'll never be able to prove it, and he'll never have to explain it. You do junket after junket, the same 6 questions in 19 cities. You start to hear yourself from a slight distance. Level 8, the icon. You are 44. You have a body of work now, not just roles. People study your filmography in classrooms. Young actors cite you in their own interviews the way you once cited people you'll never meet. You watch your own films sometimes late, alone, and feel like you're watching a stranger who happens to share your face at a different age. Your face becomes inseparable from one character, the one that made you. Strangers shout his catchphrase at you across restaurants. You've played 11 other roles since. Nobody remembers the other 10. You have real money now, generational money, wealth managers, a foundation with a staff who answer to a board you technically chair and rarely attend. You also have enemies you never knew you had revealed slowly through lawsuits and leaked emails. Some of it contains just enough truth that you can't fully deny it. Level 9, the legend. You are 61. You have outlasted 3 eras of the industry that were supposed to replace you. You have made 40 films. Some are masterpieces. Some you barely remember making. From the years the drugs or the divorce blurred into a smear. They give you lifetime achievement awards now. which is industry shorthand for telling you the good part is over. 2 calls come in the same month. One is about the franchise that made you famous 30 years ago, a legacy sequel for the generation that grew up on the original. The other is a script based on your own life, written by someone who never met you. Neither is very good. You say yes to both. Fine is the best you can hope for when someone else tells your story. You think for the first time honestly about what the work cost, the birthdays you missed, the marriages it ended, the version of yourself you might have been if you'd stayed PA3, unknown, unbroken, asleep before midnight. You don't regret the work. The work is its own thing now, bigger than you. But the cost was real. It was always real. You think about the young actor you once were, coiling cable at midnight, believing this exact feeling, would fix something in him. It didn't fix the thing. It just gave the thing better lighting. Level 10, the Ancestor. You are gone. The tributes run within the hour. Every streaming service moves your films to the top of the homepage. People who never met you post about what you meant to them. A studio announces a biopic nobody asked you about, because nobody can ask you anything anymore. Your estate licenses your face for a film you never agreed to be in. Artificial recreation, seamless, technically legal. Your children approve it because the alternative is someone else approving it. Film students study your work in dark rooms decades from now. None of them will ever know what it cost to make it look effortless. They will only know that it did. Somewhere tonight, in a parking lot behind a warehouse, someone is holding 2 coffees that aren't for them, wearing a laminated badge that says PA3, watching a director walk past close enough to touch. He doesn't see her. Nobody sees her. Not yet. The cycle continues.